Okay, welcoming back to the podcast, our isolated host turned Shonee, Nofo.
Hi.
Welcome. Pretty unusual for you. This is your first time going pre-merge in all 5 of your seasons. It's 5, right?
Yeah, this is the 5th, and I'm absolutely devastated. No, not really.
Well, I will say, I think probably the defining character of the pre-merge, if I had to name one. I also think probably a return to form for you in terms of drama for a season.
Yeah, I had to get it all out in 2 rounds rather than 15.
Yeah, I think you were probably holding it in since Revenge, so it was coming.
Yeah, and it blew up in my face. But what can you do?
It happens. I guess let's talk about the early game, because I thought you were best positioned on Dajaru. What were your thoughts on that early part of the game?
Well, I mean, I felt pretty good for the first 3 days. I was talking to everyone. I was getting along with everyone. And then Wednesday morning, I log on, and Connor and Shane, who came up to me and were saying that Pia was talking about how much she hated me and wanted me out, me and Moana.
Yeah, what happened? I think Peter lied, or he just spread the information.
If it was a lie, this is the first I've heard about it, because I thought it was true.
Maybe it was. Maybe he was just facilitating the drama.
Yeah, and so after that, I started kind of panicking and scrambling, and that was what led to me not participating in that ranking challenge, because I was terrified of being last. I did not want to be last in that at all.
Which I think was smart, but also I think pissed a lot of people off in a way. Like, it almost backfired not ranking. I think because people were like, oh, well, this is a gameplay move.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, I can't say that it was just personal. I really didn't want to see that, and I don't want to give away what people think of me, because I feel like that kind of forces you into a position.
Well, I mean, it's fair to say, because I think Shane has been a big target because of it, and I think Flick has gone home because of it. Maybe not directly, but I think it played a part in people viewing them as big threats.
And I think it's why Phoebe flipped the way she did. I think if Phoebe wasn't last or so low in that ranking, she probably would have stayed with us.
Interesting. Well, let's talk about Tallulah, because that's kind of the meat of the season for you anyway. First of all, what the fuck with that tribe?
I don't know. They were just so bad in challenges. I was like, I'm a middle of the road challenge performer, and I was pretty much carrying that tribe in challenges other than that one.
Well, it's weird because we had done Rematch, which I know is not like a fair comparison to Stranded challenges, but in Rematch, like, you were probably number 1 in challenges, and then Stephanie, I'd say, is like number 2. And in his season, Rob won all the immunities, and in her season, Phoebe won all the immunities, and Wok is not a slouch in the challenges. So I really thought that they would dominate. I mean, we can blame it all on AK, but I really think Wok kind of shit the bed on a lot of those challenges too.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I think that Rohan really messed up. Or Rowan, however you pronounce his name. I think that's the one I blamed for the challenges, and I wanted him gone rather than AK, but for some reason, Phoebe and Connor were talking about AK to me, but they were lying the whole time anyway, so what do I do?
Do you think that a little bit of it was Connor recognizing that Rohan was Wok?
In retrospect, that probably was part of it. And that never even crossed my mind that it was Joaquin. I thought when I first met AK, that's who I thought AK was at first. I never thought that Rohan was Joaquin. But you're probably right. It probably did have something to do with that.
I think he said it in his exit interview that I did. He said something. He said like he wished it hadn't played a part in it, but he thinks, and it might have been subconscious, but he thinks probably it did play a part in him wanting to work with Rohan, which I think is probably just unavoidable, except you didn't abandon him for Abby, which you totally could have, since you and Abby are close.
And that's what really made me so conflicted about voting out Abby, because I knew it was Stephanie and I did not want to vote her out at all. But I knew that it was probably the best move to stay in that tribe and stay strong, because how did she do it? No, she didn't participate in that challenge, did she?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, but Phoebe and Connor were pretty much solidly pushing that. And Phoebe did not want to vote out Rohan the entire time. And I really liked AK.
Well, what was weird to me was that I felt like Pia should have gone before Abby. I mean, logically, not,
Oh, totally.
Like I would have thought that after he was just exposed, you would have wanted him gone immediately. And I feel like
I did want him gone.
It's a little shocking that like Rohan and Phoebe didn't jump on that to try to save another Larakai. Although, Phoebe was Dejaru, but I don't know. It's just a little weird. What do you think that was about? Why did Pia stay over Abby?
I think I'm just going to blame myself. I think I got kind of blinded by this notion of tribal lines. I think I was really focused on keeping old Dejaru together rather than trying to focus on it being a new tribe. And I think that's where I messed up completely, because
because if Abby was still there, I think you have a number, and I don't think that she would turn on you, even with all that drama.
Yeah, knowing what I know now, I probably would have gone for Pia instead that first boot. But Connor did not want to do that. Connor did not want to go for Pia immediately. And I don't think he would have gone for it at that double tribal if it would have been brought up to us. I mentioned possibly going for Pia at that tribal.
Well, it's almost like you guys lost control of things to Phoebe more than, like, I don't think Rohan, maybe he cared, but I really think whatever Phoebe wanted, everyone just kind of followed suit. And then I think even Connor didn't want to vote you out, but he felt like everyone else was, so it might as well.
Yeah, and that's what I don't understand at all, because I really liked Phoebe, and I had told her immediately after that she probably would have been like fourth in my ranking off of that. Well, I didn't tell her she would be fourth, but I told her she would be high in my ranking if I would have done it. So I kind of wish I did actually do that challenge.
So you could point to it and be like, hey.
Yeah, because I really think Phoebe messed up. I really think that was a bad move on her part, because I really enjoyed Phoebe. I really felt close to her.
Well, it seems like that's what bothers you the most after being voted out was Phoebe.
Yeah, it felt like a betrayal, and I feel like it didn't make any sense, her reasoning for it. I feel like it was a cop-out. I just don't believe that anyone going into a new tribe would have looked at me and said, okay, well, Phoebe and Connor are here. They've been voting with her, so let's go for them before we go for Shonee. That I just don't think that makes sense.
Yeah. What else leading up to your vote off do you think contributed to it, or do you think we've covered everything?
Well, I think probably me going so crazy at that double tribal and going into that challenge that I really messed up. I really wish I didn't go so hard on that ruling, because I still stand by it. I think I was right. I'm just going to say that. I think I was completely right in that situation, but I wish I would have just laid down and not died on that hill.
Well, I think it's interesting. I think had they been two large tribes, like if it was still, let's say 10 versus 10, and you had fought that hard to save a challenge, I don't think it would necessarily be that bad of a move. I think the fact that you guys were on a 4-person tribe and the other tribes still had like combined like 13 people or something, I think that then sets you apart as like you're 4 people against 13 people. And I think a swap was obviously coming pretty soon. So I don't hate the move of sticking your neck out for your tribe. I just think it was unfortunate that you were such small numbers against such a large tribe. I feel like if you're going to stick your neck out for a tribe, it should probably be a large tribe, or at least 2 versus 2 instead of 1 versus 2,
Yeah, and I was fully willing to, take the brunt of that at the swap. I was totally fine, having to explain why I did what I did, and probably having my entire new tribe hate me and come after me. That would have been fine. I just think that it would have made a lot more sense for me to be in that game still, rather than someone like Fenella being just a goat.
Right. Well, and I think most people saw you as a shield potential. And I think that's kind of how you started Stranded in Venezuela. You kind of stuck around as a shield for a lot of people.
And that was what I was kind of hoping for, but it didn't work out that way.
You had a couple things working against you. I think, like I said, you had a majority of the season against your tribe. But also, I think Brooke and Zach really together were so dominant on their particular tribes that I think even had you swapped, I feel like if you were on a tribe with one of them, they would have just bulldozed you out of the game. And I think in like a normal season, most people are too timid to, force their way on a vote. But unfortunately, you're stuck with like Brooke and Zach, who are some of the most hard-headed players we have. And if they want you out, they're going to get you out, even if it costs them the game.
That annoys me so much, by the way. I don't understand why people were just sheeping behind Brooke and Zach. I would not do that at all.
And they're still in the game. It's kind of crazy.
I don't understand why they're blindly following them.
I don't understand why people aren't taking shots at other people. I'm glad about it because here we are, final 12.
I completely.
But at the same time, why wouldn't someone take a shot at Brooke or even one of Brooke's people? They're just kind of voting out the easy votes. I think because they assume they'll have the numbers in a final 7 or whatever. But I just didn't expect that from this group. I thought for sure.
If I would have immediately gone after those two. I would have immediately started trying to rally people against them within a couple votes.
Let's look.
I probably wouldn't be able to do that immediately.
Well, let's look past your vote a little bit. I think Connor goes home. I think if you were still in the game, maybe he wouldn't pre-merge. I think.
Yeah, you said he maybe what?
Wouldn't go home had you still been in the game.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I just think I was a bigger target. So I don't think it was the right move taking me out of the game, because I would have been the biggest threat on any tribe other than someone like Phoebe or Zach. Brooke or Zach.
Right. What are you surprised by from what you've seen?
I'm surprised that Jenna Louise and Brooke were not close. They were not together, and I'm surprised neither of them had an idol, because I was completely wrong on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of people assumed Flick and Brooke were really close, and that wasn't the case either.
I'm surprised that Benji is doing as well as he is. I wasn't expecting that from when I first met him. I think he's set up pretty well. I don't think he's going to win, but I think he's actually set up pretty well to go pretty deep.
I feel like we're marching towards a Moana, Benji, Rohan, Lee final stretch.
Yeah, I'm thinking Rohan, Lee, or Shane if she could sneak through. I think Shane could have a good chance at winning if she can make it through this. Yeah,
I feel like Jackie's going to go home tonight, but something tells me Lee was saying he wants to put it all on the line for Jackie tonight to try to save her. And I think that might be the difference, because I feel like there's so many good players that haven't played yet, and I feel like we're about to start seeing them play, and I think that's gonna dramatically change how the rest of the game goes.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see when Monica is gonna blow up, because I know it's Chrissy and she's not playing like I would expect Chrissy to play at all. I'm waiting to see more of that flair.
Yeah, she's gotten
because I mean
she's gotten smarter for sure as a player. She found the idol very early on and has held on to it through 2 swaps now into the merge, and no one knows that she has it. I think Monica could surprise a lot of people if she can. I think once Brooke is gone, which I think will probably happen around final 9, if I had to guess, I think Monica can slip through, play an idol, and find herself in the final 5, The
one person I really hope goes home soon is Fenella. I mean, I don't like Phoebe or Brooke, but I really want Fenella gone. I don't think she's doing well at all. And it's not what I would have expected from Rourke.
Yeah, I'm super disappointed. And I feel like she's almost I feel like I challenged her to do well, and she's almost taken that as an offense to the point of, well, now she's just not going to play how she thinks we want her to play, And it's I'm not saying that to make you entertaining. I'm saying that because right now everyone thinks you suck,
Yeah. And, I understand that, because when you told me before the game that you wanted to see more Legends or Venezuela Sarah than Revenge or Marquesas, I was like, I'm just going to play how I want to play. I'm just going to go in there and play how I want to. And it ended up just by pure luck going exactly how you wanted it to go.
Yeah, I don't know. I also feel like I feel a little bit lied to by Rourke, because she promised this big game, and like I kind of rearranged who I wanted in because she came to me and like begged to play and was like, no, I'm going to prove Gary wrong, and I'm really going to be this scrappy player. Like I want to play so badly. And it's like, do you though? Because you haven't shown up, and when you do show up, you're not really playing very well, you know?
Yeah, that's why I was really surprised, because I heard that rumor that her mom was sick, and I thought that was true until who even came up with that lie? Was it Zach?
It's actually pretty hilarious. AK came up with that lie to like cover for her, and then he was shocked that she was like offended that he like made that up completely.
Well, I mean, I thought it was true.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know why she wouldn't just go along. But I really do think I think she's been sick, and I think she's had like school drama. I don't know what's going on in her personal life, but I do know something is going on that's caused her to drop in activity. But I almost don't give that a pass, because when she is there, it's still bad. You know, it's like, it's not even the activity so much as she's almost delusional when she's around. And it's weird because I feel like she was better in Sri Lanka or even some of the rematches. Like, she wasn't a bad player. So I'm not sure why she's so boring here.
And, you know, she would have been, I really wish Peter would have kind of campaigned harder against Fenella. He should have really gone in on her. If he was going to go that tribal, he really should have been like, you need to get Fenella out next. If you take her to the final or whatever, no one's going to respect you. Because, I mean, I wouldn't have to go.
I think that was the one chance. If Peter wasn't white knighting, I feel like that was our one chance to get rid of Fenella, was a surprise vote where people are just looking for an easy out. That's kind of the only way I see her going.
Yeah. And I think if someone did go in and was like, we need to get rid of her, go for her. If you immediately take your immunity and put it and give it to someone else, you should have a target set in mind, not yourself. Because, I mean, you know you're going to get votes anyway, but you should put out a name at least, even if you do want to go home.
Why not just like quit if that's the case, you know? Say, hey, cancel tribal, I'm going home, you know?
Yeah, I mean, but even so, I mean, I know he had his game starting the next day.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was a missed opportunity to get Fenella out. I do know, like Rohan has said and has told other people, like, hey, we should probably think about getting her out, because
if she goes too deep in like the jury phase, you're going to lose a lot of jurors' respect for
there's that. Yeah. And also, I feel like you're taking away a potential spot that you can have in the final three. And people don't think about that until it's too late, you know?
Yeah.
Because you got to figure,
going to want her. If she gets to the final 5 or final 6, at that point, everyone's going to want to take her to the end.
Right. I mean, you have to think about it like this. If you're a big threat, just getting to the end is your problem. Like, winning is secondary because you're such a target that you just have to get to the end. So if you can secure a few spots that other people are hoping to occupy, that's always a good thing. And, you know, people always assume, well, it's like people fight over who's going to get to take that person. But you got to assume, okay, that person's only going to take who they see as the least threatening. So you're talking about like the third biggest threat is the person who's going to the end with them, you know?
Yeah. But I think you have a really good merge tribe here. I think there's a lot of people who I wouldn't be upset with winning.
Well, that's the thing, is like, it's really only Fenella that would be a bad winner. Yeah. Everyone else is like, I mean, who's the next most inactive? Like Monica, you know, like that would be a great winner, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I only have like people that I personally don't like that I wouldn't want to win. It's not like a game move, because strategically, a winner like Brooke or Zach, that would be an excellent winner. Right. Very over the top, someone who's playing hard. That would be an excellent winner. I just don't like them.
Right. And I think, you know, I think a shield game may not work this season because the Shields are so aggressive. It's kind of like when Shane was trying to get Zach to vote for Jono. And I mean, he was pushing so hard to keep Jono and boot Flick that, I mean, it was really exhausting for her personally to try to get him to vote out Jono. And really, I don't even think they got him to agree. I think they just went behind his back and did it. I mean, can you imagine having to vote with a shield and count on that number and they're completely unreliable? I don't think Zach's really good at challenges. I don't know if I'd want to take him to like final 5 because he could win out, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, but if he could get to the end, I don't think they will. I think they're just too reckless to get that far.
Right.
If got to the end and I was on the jury, even if I hate Zach and even if I did figure out who he was, because I had no clue he was Dan, if I knew who he was, I would still vote for him.
Yeah, I'm just as out of respect for her being able to pull it off.
I mean, you don't absolutely hate Dan, but I would probably vote for him in the end if he made it.
Right. No, I get that. I mean, I've had a situation before where I was on the jury and someone that I personally really did not like, I ended up voting for to win, like begrudgingly. I even like said I wasn't going to vote for them. And, you know, the last minute I was like, fuck, I can't not vote for them, you know? Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of respect for the way they're playing the game. Because, I mean, it's how I would have played if I had stayed in that game.
Well, I think it was how you were playing, you know?
Yeah, but I wasn't like, here, this is exactly what we're going to do at that point. If I was still in the game, I probably would have gone balls to the wall. This is what we're going to do. If you're not doing this, I don't care. You know, I'll go for you next.
I feel like almost if you had, maybe you could have been around still, you know? It was just which is weird, but it's almost like Phoebe kind of did that, you know?
Yeah. I'm just so mad at Phoebe. I mean, because I really enjoy her as a person. I really like Christina. So I mean, it just kind of hurt because I really felt like I was getting along with Phoebe. It just feels like a betrayal.
Yeah, that's why it sucks, because you would have liked to work with her.
Who are we talking? Yeah.
It's Nofo.
Nofo, my angel.
Hey, Julie. Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah, hey, I'll give you the headphones to talk to Julie.
Hi, Nofo. Oh, hi, Nofo. I miss you.
How are you feeling?
Okay. I think I have like...
Right now, since you're like, it's only been like, 9 months since you were diagnosed?
It's been like 8 months.
You're probably in like the worst of it for right now.
Yeah, like it's gonna get better. It's like that's why Poody and I decided like we wanted to have kids when we turned 30, and I'm like, oh, and then I got diagnosed like literally 2 months before I turned 30. So we're gonna wait like 2 years because I mean,
well, I hope you feel better.
Thank you. I was so pissed when Poody told me that you got out. I was like, no.
Yeah.
Those fuckers.
But it's okay. You know, I've never been in this position before. I've never been voted out this early.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I mean, I was kind of expecting it because I felt like I've been so lucky the other 4 times, and I was in for the shoe to drop where I would be like first boot.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll let y'all get back. I just wanted to say hi.
All right.
Okay, love you.
All right, love you too. Bye.
All right, I have control again.
So do you want to talk about like who's left in the merge tribe?
Yeah, give me your predictions, your thoughts, what you think of the season so far, all that good stuff.
I'm predicting a Lee or Rohan win, or maybe someone like Monica, maybe. I could see that kind of win. I don't think it's going to be someone like Moana. I think she's too visible. I think she's a bigger threat towards the end rather than someone like Lee.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like a 5th place boot for her. I keep saying that, so that's probably where my mind is. I will say she's playing better than I feel like she's playing better than I thought.
That might be a little too generous. I could expect her going right around the time Brenda did in both the seasons I played with her, right around 9th or 10th.
Wow, okay.
I just think she's too big of a threat.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Shane's going to benefit from Jackie going.
Yeah, that's who I really feel a sentimental spot for Shane, because, you know, I love Val. I would be completely happy if she won.
I think Val is probably the best player in the game right now. That's not to say she's in the best position. Like, I think she might be a little too visible, but I'm really impressed by how good she's doing.
Yeah, if it was my call, it would have been Shane, AK, or someone like, let's go Rohan again. Those would have been the people I would have chosen to be the winner. And because I really like AK. I really like him.
He's such a interesting person. Like, I don't know, he's got something really funny about him and quirky that you just want to hear more from him.
Yeah, he's so easy to talk to. Like, I mean, I saw this in Isolated, but I actually got to meet him here, and he's just so easy to talk to, and like you immediately like him.
Yeah, it's funny. I always compare him to, and this is going to be a weird comparison, and you might not get it because I don't know how far back you've watched, but he really reminds me of Big Tom from Survivor because he's such a goofball, but he's still like really strategic, and he kind of hides it well under like this guise of being happy-go-lucky and really quirky. And that's kind of where I see him going, is like a Final Four, Final Five boot.
I mean, he could go to the Final Three. I don't think he would win, but I really like him.
I agree with that.
Because, I mean,
I don't think he's played well enough to win.
Yeah, in this situation, he's the only newbie of the bunch. He's the only one who hasn't played Stranded.
Yeah, true. I mean, you could say Fenella to a degree. I was saying, I think not only is Rourke too inactive, but I think she's a little bit out of her depth with the level of players because she didn't really get a full first season either,
Yeah, you're right.
It's very obvious that everyone is outplaying her here to like a degree where you just can see plainly she's not even in the contention at this point. Hopefully it changes, but I don't see it yet,
Yeah, you have a really strong cast. Like, going through the cast list, I'm surprised at how good it is.
Well, that's what, I mean, you knew it was.
I think you really were selling yourself short before.
Yeah, just to give everyone who's listening a preface, Nofo knew it was going to be all-stars of some kind, just because I had asked if he was available. Well, first I asked if he could host with me. And then he said, well, if that's the season, I'm going to be pissed if I'm not in it. So I was like, okay, well, I can no longer talk to you. I can't talk to you about this anymore.
I didn't know anyone who was in the game. But I was pretty much told that, you thought it was closer to Allies type of cast. I did. I think really strong cast.
I still think it is, but I think it's a cast we've never had before. I think, it's not a Revenge level cast, but it's not an Allies. It's like a mix of the two. It's like half and half.
Yeah. It's a mid-level kind of all-star season, but you've got a really strong cast of players and, characters and people who are pretty much a mix of both.
Well, and
it's a game where
really what this is if you think about all those shows that have all-star spin-offs where they have like multiple all-star seasons, that's kind of what this is, where I have several legends in this season, but they're kind of mixed with like the newer all-stars and they're mixed with like some second chance people and just kind of everyone that I want to see together. And I think that's how this will continue. Like in a season 2, I think I'll mix in some more legends that we didn't get to see in this one with maybe a few people from this season and a few of the people from the newer seasons. And that's kind of how it'll go. It'll be a good little mix of really good personalities,
And I think something that you kind of missed on Revenge was pretty much everyone is on the same level of gameplay. There's no one who's really that bad at the game other than the two people we just mentioned.
Yeah.
Everyone's on a pretty similar level with how they've done and how they play the game other than strategy.
What would you say in Revenge? Like who are you thinking of?
Well, I think obviously we had people like Yule and who was the other one in the Final Four?
Rory.
Yeah. I feel like those two were kind of just falling behind completely.
I see what you mean.
I know that you say they're good players, but I feel like they really fell behind.
Well, I think just from an activity level too. I see what you mean. Yeah, like they're really, that's what I said when I assembled this cast, is like I was picking people that I knew would be very good and would put on a good show. Whereas Revenge was really about the name factor. Like I was casting people that I knew may not perform as well, but it was impressive to have them in the cast.
Yeah, but you also ended up with a lot of people who didn't show up, like Teresa, Cataly.
Well, that's right. And, you know, I mean, I did that a little bit this season. Like, I'm not completely innocent of it, where I had Andy and Tarzan, who were big names, but they didn't show up activity wise. But still, like, we lucked out that those people went early, you know?
Yeah. But really, I can't say enough how much I enjoy this cast. I really think it's a good bunch where you only have two people, really only one person who would make a terrible winner.
Yeah, I told you, like, it's not a Legends cast, but it's really good. And it's balanced, I think, is the key. Like, we had 4 people from Morocco. Of course, almost all of them went early except for Ziggy. But they, you know, we only had 4, so it wasn't like we had 6 people from Morocco, which would have been imbalanced. You know, we had like enough people from each season to where it wasn't like some of the other seasons where there was like a huge imbalance of Pharaoh people, or it was balanced. Yeah. Let's put it that way. I really enjoyed this group, and I think we lucked out with some people. Like, I think we lucked out with Brooke and Zach and Flick all showing up, because they were, of course, we know they're big personalities, but what if they weren't active, you know? Yeah,
I mean, after like Final 21, every single person in the game was active and like pretty much always online, other than Fenella.
Yeah, I mean, that
you got the level.
That's what I kept thinking, is like,
you got a level of activity that pretty much only shows up at around Final 12, at Final 21.
Right. Yeah, and it became, you know, I don't want anyone to go home, and that's the best place to be, you know.
That's why I'm not upset at all that I got voted out, because I mean, I've had my chance. I've done this 4 times, and you know, I'm not over it at all. I would totally show up again, but I feel like you've got people who you don't really know what to expect anything from. There's people who, there's no surprises with me anymore. You know what you're going to get.
Well, and
rather than someone like Benji, who hasn't really had the chance to prove himself in Stranded.
Yeah. And I feel like you don't have to prove anything, because you've already...
I have nothing to prove. I made it to the final 2.
Exactly. I was runner-up. You had fan favorites twice, covers every time.
Yeah, I was always on the cover. I've proved what I needed to prove, other than winning.
Right.
And I don't think I need that anymore.
And really, like, I didn't realize this until I talked to Connor when in his exit interview, because, you know, I was like, what did you think when you found out it was All Stars? And he was like, in a lot of ways, I was relieved, which I didn't expect the answer to be. I thought for sure it would be like an oh shit moment. But for him, it was like, now that I know I'm not getting owned by new players, I kind of feel better about it. Like, you know, he's like, now it's not embarrassing that I'm doing so poorly this time, because at least I know everyone else is really good.
Oh yeah, if this was a newbie season and I went out as early as I did, I would have been upset.
Yeah, and like, I feel like I'm excited about this series. I think it's totally changed my view on Stranded and what I'm going to do going forward, because it's so... And like, I know it's nothing revolutionary. Like, this is pretty much what Orgy has been doing forever. The difference is here, Stranded is so exclusive in its rule of like, you only get to play once, that this gives people a second chance, and it allows me as a host to give as many people as I want a second chance at doing a good job, even if they went out early, or even if I think, you know, they would just be fun to see again. I could put in whoever I want with whoever else I want. If I wanted to see, you know, if I want to see Flick again and I want to see Flick with Teresa, I can do that. You know, I don't have to follow a rule of these are legends, these are all stars, you know, all that shit. I can just kind of do whatever I want.
Yeah. Can I ask you something? Did you ask Sophie if she wanted to play? Because I know that she came back to the server.
Yes, I asked Sophie multiple times. I begged her to play, refuses to play. And actually, the fact that she couldn't be Sophie was a sticking point for her, which I thought that was odd.
Was this a thing that happened when you first cast her, that she had to be Sophie?
I don't remember, but I don't think so. And also, she was always hard to convince to play. Like, it's nothing new. I actually had expected like her to last minute cave, because it's kind of her MO. But she didn't, and she was really really seemed like she was over it, which I haven't experienced yet with her. So I don't know what that's like going forward. I don't know. But yes, I did ask her, and no, she was not about it. Some other people I asked, I probably already told you. Teresa was supposed to be in it. Garrett and Wu wanted to do it, but they had like some kind of sports thing that they were traveling for.
Mm-hmm.
Ozzy, I asked, but he had a vacation. Frank really wanted to do it, but this is not a good time for him. So I got a lot of rain checks from people I didn't expect. So that's why I say I'm excited for another season, because I think, maybe I won't get everybody that's amazing in at the same time, but I'm pretty confident I can get at least 3 or 4 surprises in each one that I do,
And another thing, this is my first season that I played as a returnee without Mia.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I was kind of looking for her because I'm so used to playing with her.
I asked Cochran, he couldn't do it. I asked Mia, but didn't hear back from her, which just leads me to believe she goes in waves, so it's probably just not a good time of the year. I asked everybody. I mean, I went down my entire list of emails that I have saved and emailed everybody. So, and actually, initially, Luke, was supposed to be Nick from Socotra, and he flaked again after his flake and isolated. And then Trish emailed me, Trish, who's played by Hipster Carrot, emailed me saying hey, I just got this in my spam folder. And are you still casting? And I was like, I'm not. I do have a spot if you want it. It's a replacement. And she was like, yeah, I'll take it. A little disappointed that she ghosted mid-season. I'm assuming something happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I was pleasantly surprised that he wanted to play again. And I thought he was doing pretty well too. So that was a surprise for me even. But there's tons of people like that. I emailed a lot of people from Socotra that I thought were good, and we never got to see them again because we didn't do a returning season soon enough,
Yeah.
But I still have everyone's email, so I'll keep emailing for future seasons, I think it's a little surprising because we have 5 winners in this cast, and really it's becoming a little bit of a battle of the winners, especially
Moana.
I'll name them all. Moana, who's Ziggy from Morocco. Peter, who was Chris from Stranded, but played Russell when he won Isolated. Val, who was Shane, won Indonesia. And then we had Lee, played by Tammy or Mikester, who won Allies. And
basically Phoebe, who won In My Heart.
Yeah, Peter just left. And Andy was the other one who left early, who's played by Melinda, who won Rivals. It was really interesting when 4 of those guys were on a tribe of 8. So half the tribe were winners. And Moana and Shane really went toe to toe. And that was interesting because Shane didn't realize Moana was a threat until he tried to pull a blindside off. And Shane was like, what the fuck? What was that? And actually Lee kind of cock blocked that blindside, and Moana was kind of like, what the fuck? Because he wasn't expecting Lee to be a good player. So it was kind of like this, all the winners were in stealth mode, and they finally kind of showed their cards a little bit. It was interesting.
Do you have a prediction for the winner?
It's hard to say. I could really see Lee winning again, but it's kind of interesting. We have a little bit of a mini winner season going on, unbeknownst to the cast.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe a real winter season would be entertaining, and it's something we should consider. Even if it's for
I'm
thinking if we do a mini season of winners, even though we don't have Lucy anymore, so it won't feel complete, but it would probably be 12 people, 12 winners, and 2 weeks. So that I think we could probably get more winners if it was only 2 weeks, number one. And number two, I think 12 is a high number to shoot for, with winners. It's kind of hard to get everyone locked down in such a small pool.
Yeah.
And I think it would have to be isolated and stranded mixed. So I think another year and we'll have enough winners to choose from.
Yeah. So basically, my gut is telling me that Rohan's going to win.
I would love that, especially because it wouldn't be a repeat winner. So it would give me more in the pool of winners. But also, yeah, he's playing really well. Of the winners, I see Lee doing the best. I would love to see Shane win. I would even love to see, as much as it would pain me, Moana win because he's playing very well here. Although his ego would explode. Kudos if he can.
Yeah, it'd be a much better win than Morocco.
Definitely, and I like him a lot more here. Mm-hmm. He's much more likable as the underdog than the person controlling everything. Although he's slowly becoming the person controlling everything, so it might end up as a repeat. But we'll see. I don't see Phoebe winning. I think she's too tone deaf to what people think of her. I don't see Benji winning. I don't see AK winning.
Was it Connor that said, if you tell Phoebe that someone doesn't like her, they're immediately dead to her?
Yes.
I think, and that just sounds exactly like Phoebe to me. It doesn't have to be true. If she thinks you don't like her, you're gone.
Yeah, she's not pliable enough to win, I don't think. Shane could totally win. Zach could even win. I don't think Brooke can win. I think Brooke is too. I think it's weird to say she's more unlikable than Zach, but I think she might be. Because at least like I could really see Moana, Rohan, maybe even like Shane, Benji, AK all voting for Zach. I can't see Brooke having that same amount of support on a jury.
Yeah, Brooke would have to be up against Vanilla.
Yeah. And I mean, that could totally happen, but I keep forgetting it's a final two. So that kind of changes a lot as well. It'll be an interesting finish, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. I hope it's not straightforward. I hope there's some shifting and some backstabbing. I can't imagine that there won't be.
There are too many players in here for it to be a straight shot.
Yeah, like there's no way Rohan and Moana stick together throughout the whole. Like I can't see it happening.
Yeah,
I really loved Lee's message to Jackie. If you haven't read it, she's pasted it in her confessional. Lee's basically pledged to try to save her this round because he feels guilty for not stepping up and putting himself out there last round to save her. I'd be interested to see if Lee can pull that off this round. I think he stands a much better chance of winning, number one. Number two, it'll be super impressive. And number three, I think it gives Jackie a good shot at winning, which I thought maybe she could before the merge. Now I don't know,
Yeah, if Jackie goes, that's going to be very disappointing for me. Because I really like her.
I do too. And we talked about this a little bit. She's more unlikable this time.
Mm-hmm.
Not unlikable by us to watch. I think she's not as endearing to the other players as she normally is.
I mean, you knew that in Revenge, I couldn't stand Candace.
Mm.
I actually thought she was much better here. But she also wasn't in like a majority alliance here.
Right.
So I like her and I'm really rooting for her. I'm actually rooting for a lot of people. I don't know what I'm going to do when it gets down to it.
I know. I'm disappointed. I think my biggest disappointment of people going early, you weren't disappointing to me because number one, I felt like I got my season's worth of drama out of you. But number two, I had seen you deep in the game before. I've never seen Flick deep in the game. So I was super disappointed that she went pre-merge, like really pissed off about it, especially because she was so good here. And I think if she had made the merge, she probably stood a pretty good shot of at least making a run for it. So that's my biggest like missed opportunity, I think, is a pre-merge Flick boot.
Yeah, and I'm really disappointed for Connor.
Yeah,
I really would have wanted him to go real deep.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. The two fan favorites from the past two seasons, Connor, who was Danny, and Jenna Louise, who was Chelsea, really did not translate into this. Like, they were likable enough, but they weren't. I feel like in their seasons, everyone loved them so much and were like excited for them. And in this, I feel like
the bizarre thing is all the newbies, the more recent players, they went back to back.
Yeah. And in like the same order that they left their first seasons. It's weird.
Then you had people like me and Jenna Louise who just got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, not Jenna Louise, Flick.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm excited to see this end game. I think it's a good group for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Well,
I think you did a really good job here. I'm really excited to see how this goes further. I'm excited to see what challenges you throw at them.
Well, thank you.
And never do that one where we have to post
five
posts in a row. Never do that one again.
Yeah, that was it fucked me again. So,
well, good luck.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us as always. I'm sure we'll get you again throughout the season, and I'm glad to have you back as a co-host.
Anytime.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.